Recovery efforts underway after Hurricane Milton left a path of devastation across Florida. Atlanta Fed President Raphael Bostic warning the effects of the hurricane season could impact the economy for more than 6 months. Joining us right now is Sadek. Wahba. He's the founder and chairman of I Squared Capital, which oversees $40 billion in assets under management and is based in Miami. He's also the author of Build. It's a 40-page book on America's infrastructure and what can be done to repair it. He's also a member of President Biden's National Infrastructure Advisory Council, so there's a lot to talk about. You were not personally impacted by the storm, but you actually have family members who were right in the center of it all.
Absolutely. My mother-in-law lives in Siesta Key, and she had to be evacuated, and she moved to Washington, D.C., and unfortunately, we still don't have any news about the kind of damages you have there.
Yeah. And can anyone get cameras on them, or is nobody can even get to the area?
Not yet, not yet.
It's like electricity.
Early reports that the damage is more than people expected.
More than people expected,
yes.
Yeah. So from an infrastructure perspective, when it comes to investing in this space, what do you think the ultimate answer is going to be when we start to think about these storms? Is there a way to fortify the situation, or do you think people say to themselves, "We're throwing up our hands and we're just not investing there"?
At the end of the day, it will depend on people's willingness to pay for the infrastructure. So the fact is, we need to create resilient infrastructure over the coming decade. That means infrastructure that can withstand changes in climate,
right.
Whether because you're on the coastal area or whether because you're in the middle of Texas and temperatures, or Phoenix, Arizona, where temperatures have risen to the highest level ever in the United States, 110 degrees.
Right.
Or you have a major snowstorm that paralyzes the entire electric grid in the northeastern area, as it happened in the past. So all of these climate changes will require that you invest in infrastructure for the coming decade.
And who is supposed to pay for that infrastructure?
Good question. So to date, over the last 70-plus years, the government has invested in infrastructure. When you look at the investment as a percentage of GDP, we've invested under 2% in infrastructure of GDP. China has invested 8% of its GDP in infrastructure for the last 40 years. So think about it, 8% compounded over 40 years, that's a lot. The fact is, the infrastructure bill that was passed by President Biden, $1.2 trillion, has done a great job at trying to improve our infrastructure, given that we haven't invested in the last 40 years. But going forward, it has to come from user fees, it has to come from private capital that looks to invest in infrastructure for the coming period.
What do you think the right number is? Is 8% too high? So if China's spending 8% and we're 2%, you say, what would be the number that would make sense to you? If I was making you allow you to sort of rebudget America.
So there's two questions. There's a quantity question and then there's a quality question. So if you fund your infrastructure through taxes, that has certain implications. If you fund it through private capital, that's another implication. If you fund it and don't increase the fees, you're going to get the same type of behavior every day about the use of infrastructure. So you need to be able to have the right signal in the market for people to say, I need to be able to invest in infrastructure because I think I can get the kind
Meaning what? I mean, I think about the tolls I pay to come across the GW Bridge every day. But then you're here in New York City and people aren't paying when they get on the buses. Like 40% of the people don't pay when they get on them. Are those the type of user fees you're talking about?
Those are the type of user fees that we're talking about. You have certain roads. I'll give you a simple example. How do we pay for our infrastructure and our roads in the United States, at the federal system, besides tolls? The gasoline tax.
Gasoline tax. But I will tell you, in New Jersey with my registration, when I just sent it in the other day, there's a $250 fee you have to pay if you have an electric vehicle because you're not paying the gas tax, and they are using that to make sure you are paying your share.
That's a state issue.
A state issue, yeah.
Absolutely. And
but the federal probably has to do it too.
I was talking to one of your colleagues who comes in every day from New Jersey, and she was telling me the amount of taxes that I have to pay between Easy Pass, between taxes, between insurance, is
astronomical.
So are there certain states that you think it's going to become materially more expensive, therefore, to live in? Because the other question is, when you say who should pay for all of this, I'm sure there are people, by the way, who may live in the Northeast or the Northwest who say to themselves, I don't want to pay for, to help the folks in Florida. or to help the folks in Texas? I mean, just look at the number of senators who don't want to even pass some FEMA bills.
But you're absolutely right. So you have to have state-by-state type policies.
So you think it's all state, and it's going to be paid for by states, not federal government?
At the end of the day, most of it will have to be done by states with the support of the government at the federal level, because that is the only way in which you can encourage the development of infrastructure, which is most of it at the state level. So I'll give you a simple example. Take water, right? Florida has been impacted, and we have to rebuild a lot of that infrastructure over the coming months and years. The water sector in the United States has over 55,000 water authorities. 90+% of them are government-owned. They're all underinvested in terms of quality of water, in terms of technology use, and so on. So you need to be able to aggregate that. You need to be able to bring in private capital to invest into these water resources so that the 2 million people in the United States right now who have zero access to water can have access to water.
Based in Miami?
Yes. 90% of the water in
You're going to stay there?
Absolutely.
You don't think you better move if everything you say goes? So for Phoenix, 110 did break a streak that was set in 1974 when it had 18 days above 110.
Correct.
The highest temperature ever in Phoenix was 122 in 1990, June 26, 1990. So everything we're talking about is just in the last 50 years. You said highest ever. You really believe highest ever?
Yeah.
It's just these. In 1990, it was hotter.
But I saw.
1990, it was hotter.
I saw the mayor of Phoenix, and she
says definitely. Never seen anything like that in the last 4 billion years. I think you better move. Is your house on the ocean down there?
No.
Okay. Thank God. All right. That's one of the intercoastals, maybe.
No water views.
Maybe you can get a house.
The book is called Build. Sadek, thank you for coming in this morning.
House next
Appreciate
to President Obama.
Thank you.
We got